الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا شفيع المذنبين وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين. Allah Rabbul Alameen blessed us with a complete religion. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. And in this complete religion, every single relation, every single aspect of life is covered. And as we are in the time of the year where a large portion of the world, Muslim and non-Muslim, mention and remember the dhikr of Sayyiduna Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salatu wassalam wa salamullahi alayha. We have to look to see what the Quran says, what our deen says about this noble and most honorable, one of the most honorable messengers of Allah Rabbul Alameen, Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, and his noble and honorable mother Sayyida Maryam salamullahi alayha. And in this regard, it also gives us an opportunity to look and to assess and to see what the Quran says in relation to the honor of ladies, honor of women. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has actually revealed an entire surah with the title Surah An-Nisa, the surah, the chapter of women. And in Surah An-Nisa, Allah Rabbul Alameen has mentioned various aspects of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's orders and instructions and guidance in relation to matters concerning women. And the Quran in particular, when we talk about the honorable women in Islam, the Quran in particular mentions Sayyida Hawa salamullahi alayha, our mother, the mother of all creation, and the mother and the sister of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam in Surah Al-Qasas. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ. And the Quran also mentions in the story of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, the wife of Fir'aun, Sayyida Asiya salamullahi alayha, who was the wife of Fir'aun, who was obviously the king of Egypt. And also in Surah Yusuf, the wife of the Aziz Misr, the king of Egypt, is mentioned. But also the non-believing wives of Prophet Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam and Sayyidina Lut alayhi salatu wasalam are mentioned. That they were non-believing wives of honorable prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in particular, and as far as I am aware, there is only one lady mentioned by name in the Noble Quran. Only one lady mentioned by name. And her name is mentioned time and time and time again. She is the most mentioned lady and one of the most mentioned persons in the Noble Quran. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is the most mentioned prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But amongst the ladies, of all the ladies I've mentioned, this lady has been mentioned more than any other. In fact, her pre-birth events are mentioned. Prior to her birth is mentioned. Her upbringing is mentioned. And then when she became a mother, the entire episode is mentioned. In fact, an entire surah of the Noble Quran is called Surah Maryam. This lady is an extremely special lady, revered in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and we will gain barakah from these ayahs. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إِذْ قَالَتْ امْرَأَةُ عِمْرَانَ رَبِّ إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لَكَ مَا فِي بَطْنِي مُحَرَّرًا فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Remember, O my beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the wife of Imran, the mother of Sayyida Maryam salamullahi alayha, submitted, O my Lord, I pledge to you to dedicate purely for your service that which is in my womb. When you blessed me with a child, and her intention was that she had asked for a boy, it doesn't mention specifically, but that was her intention. That was her dua to Allah Rabbul Alameen. That, oh Allah, when you bless me with a son, I will dedicate him to your service, to your deen. فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي. So accept this from me. Oh Allah, accept this niyyah from me, this intention. إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Indeed, only you are the all-hearing, all-knowing. فَلَمَّا وَضَعَتْهَا قَالَتْ رَبِّ إِنِّي وَضَعْتُهَا أُنْثَى. Then when she gave birth, she said, oh my Lord, I have given birth to a girl. She expressed surprise. This is a girl that I have given birth to. And look at the beauty of the noble Quran. وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا وَضَعَتْ. Allah Rabbul Alameen says, Allah knows what she gave birth to. Allah knows this. And this was the decree, decision of Allah Rabbul Alameen. And look at this beautiful praise of women in the noble Quran. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and the boy she had prayed for is not like this girl. The boy she had prayed for is not like this girl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that boys are not like girls. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say that girls are not like boys. Boys cannot be like girls. So who is high-end status? Except the Anbiya and Mursaleen alayhi salatu wasalam. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. The boy that you had prayed for is not like this girl. This girl is special. This girl is amazing. This girl is blessed with the blessings and bounties of Allah Rabbul Alameen. Her praise is mesmerizing. Her praise in the noble Quran is glorious. You rarely find people praised the way Sayyida Maryam is praised. Amazing praise. Allah Rabbul Alameen sent down for this particular servant of his. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى وَإِنِّي سَمَّيْتُهَا مَرْيَمْ. And I have named her Maryam. Her mother said, why I have named her Maryam. وَإِنِّي أُعِيذُهَا بِكَ وَذُرِّيَّتَهَا مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. And I have given her, and I give her and her children in your protection from shaitan, min ash-shaytan rajim, the rejected one. And look at, she says, فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي in an ayah before. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا. So her Lord accepted her. Allah accepted Maryam alayhi salatu, Maryam salamullahi alayha, Sayyida Maryam. And He raised her in an excellent manner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that her mother says, فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي, we accepted her. فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا. Not just acceptance, بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ, in the most excellent of manners. وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا, and we raised her in an excellent manner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions her acceptance in His court as a devoted servant. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions her raising as an excellent raising. And when she was raised in the most excellent manner. And look at this. فَوَكَفَّلَهَا زَكَرِيَّا. This lady is so special, this girl is so special, that her custodian, her caretaker is a Nabi of Allah Rabbul Alameen. وَكَفَّلَهَا زَكَرِيَّا. And we gave her in the guardianship of Zakaria alayhi salatu wassalam. And it doesn't stop there. كُلَّمَا دَخَلَ عَلَيْهَا زَكَرِيَّا الْمِحْرَابَ. Whenever Zakaria would enter the chamber of Sayyida Maryam, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us to Masjid al-Aqsa, including myself. When you visit Masjid al-Aqsa, the mihrab of Sayyida Maryam is on the left-hand side of Masjid al-Aqsa. It is marked. كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. Every time Zakaria alayhi salatu wasalam would go into the chamber, the mihrab. Mihrab is this? It means that where she was, she used to dedicate in worship. And they mentioned that she was only 12 or 13 years old. This girl is so special. كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. He used to find provisions, but not risk from this world, risk from the heaven. This lady is so special that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to send rizq from the heaven. How many times you don't know? Her noble son Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, Surah Al-Ma'idah, and they said, رَبَّنَا أَنزِلْ عَلَيْنَا مَائِدَةً مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ. Only once the Ma'idah came. And the food was given for 500 people. But this noble lady, whenever he entered, كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. قالت يا مريم أنى لك هذا. Oh Maryam, where is this from? قالت هو من عند الله. Directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Directly from angels used to come to her. This is the honor of Islam. Honor Islam gives to the ladies. There is no mention of any man where risk used to be provided for them and angels would bring them. قالت هو من عند الله إن الله. This is tawakkul. إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. Allah provides provisions and subsistence to whoever He wishes. هنالك دعا زكريا ربه. Her station, her maqam, her mihrab is so honorable that a Nabi of Allah, Zakaria alayhi salatu wasalam, with his white beard, it is mentioned that he was in old age and he had been praying for us all his life. But he prayed at the station, at the maqam of Sayyida Maryam. And he says, هنالك دعا زكريا ربه قال رب هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. And our scholars say that ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the bounty and blessing of awlad, of your children, but make this dua, two duas. رب هب لي من الصالحين. Oh Allah, grant me from amongst the righteous. Ask for awlad, but awlad should be a righteous and a means for your good deeds to be transferred, and a sadaqah jariyah for you. And the other dua is this dua, رَبِّ هَبْ لِي مِن لَدُنْكَ ذُرِّيَّةً طَيِّبَةً. Oh my Lord, give me from your court righteous offspring. Ask for neek awlad, ask for pious awlad. Indeed, only you are the acceptor of supplication. And then the angels descended, فَنَادَتْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَهُوَ قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّي. And the birth of Sayyidina Yahya alayhi salatu wassalam is mentioned here and also in Surah Maryam. But the lady is so amazing and she is so praised in the Noble Quran. This particular praise I have rarely seen in the Noble Quran mentioned in this manner. Look at the glorious praise of Sayyida Maryam. وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. And remember when the angel said, O Maryam, وَإِذْ قَالَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ يَا مَرْيَمْ. The angels were calling out. And what did the angels say? إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاكِ. Allah has chosen you. وَطَهَّرَكِ. And has purified you well. وَاصْطَفَاكِ عَلَى نِسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ. And today in your era exalted you above the women of this world. إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاكِ وَطَهَّرَكِ وَاصْطَفَاكِ عَلَى نِسَاءِ الْعَالَمِينَ. You know, Mustafa alayhi salatu wasalam is the name of our noble Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And the same word is used for Sayyida Maryam. Inna Allah astafa Adam wa Nuh wa ala Ibrahim wa ala Imran ala al-alamin. When Allah chooses, Allah has chosen Maryam. And He mentioned this twice. Inna Allah astafaki wa tahharaki wa astafaki. Allah has chosen you, Allah has purified you, Allah has chosen you. Ala nisa'il alamin. Ya Maryam uqnuti li rabbik. وَاسْجُدِي وَارْكَعِي مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ. O Maryam, stand respectfully in the majestic court of your Lord and prostrate for His sake and bow with those who bow in prayer. And then Surah Maryam. If you look at Surah Maryam, this was a surah which was recited in front of King Najashi of Habasha. King of Abyssinia. Surah Maryam was recited by Sayyidina Ja'far ibn Tayyar bin Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala, and he recited this noble surah of the noble Quran. And we know the incident where Najashi said, the king said that Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is no different to what he has been described in the Noble Quran. It is one of the most glorious surahs in the Noble Quran. And the dhikr, the mention of the birth and the events pre-birth of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam are mentioned in detail. وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَرْيَمَ. We all read the Quran, we all read the translation. But in one particular, I want to mention one particular ayah of the Noble Quran. You see, when you guard your chastity, when you have honor, when you have decency, when you have shyness, when you have haya of this level, look how Allah raises your ranks. When she was conceived with Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, we all know that Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam blew towards her and she was conceived with Sayyidina Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, Ruhullah. When she was overly concerned, she was deeply worried about what people will say. Even though she's the same Maryam, inna Allah astafaki wa tahharaki wa astafaki. It's the same lady we are talking about. The most honorable in her time, the most purified in her time, the chosen one. But she was so worried. What did she say when she was conceived? She says, فَحَمَلَتْهُ فَانْتَبَذَتْ بِهِ مَكَانًا قَصِيًّا. She took him to a faraway place before she gave birth. فَجَاءَ الْمَخَاضُ إِلَى جِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ. And when she sat beside a tree, she said, look, قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا. Look at this test and look at her haya and look at her honor and look at her purity and look how pure and perfect she is. She says قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا وكنت نسيا منسيا. Oh Allah, I wish I had died before this. Before the people would accuse me, I wish I had died. مت قبل هذا وَكُنْتُ نَسْيًا مَنْسِيًا. And had become someone totally forgotten. Nasya mansiya. I wish I was dead and I wish that I was a forgotten story. I wish no one knew about me. I wish rather than the people accuse me of what they will accuse me of, adultery, I wish I was dead, my Lord. I cannot face this. This is the greatest test an honorable lady can face. The greatest test a mother can face. And this lady faced that test. And she was so humble in the court of Allah Rabbul Alameen. And she was so full of haya. Look what she says. Mittu qabla hada, I wish I was dead. And nasyam mansi, I wish I was forgotten story. I wish no one knew about me. When you lower yourself that much in the court of Allah Rabbul Alameen, what does the Quran do? What does Allah Rabbul Alameen do? It says, Maryam, you are not a forgotten story. We will keep mentioning Isa ibn Maryam, Isa ibn Maryam, Isa ibn Maryam. We will mention your name time and time and time again in the Noble Quran. Until the day of judgment, whoever recites the Quran will recite the name Maryam, Maryam, Maryam again and again and again. You are not a forgotten story. Your story will live forever. Your name will live forever. And you are that honorable. And I will finish with this. Allah Rabbul Alameen. And this is a message for our sisters. This is a message for our sisters, that haya is the very essence, haya is the very excellent quality of a lady, and haya was given to the honorable ladies of Islam, and Allah Rabbul Alameen mentions this, and guarding your honor is an excellent quality, and is a quality to be desired of, especially in this day and age. Allah Rabbul Alameen mentions, and I will finish on this, وَمَرْيَمَ ابْنَةَ عِمْرَانَ الَّتِي أَحْصَنَتْ فَرْجَهَا فَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا وَصَدَّقَتْ بِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّهَا وَكُتُبِهِ وَكَانَتْ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ. And the example of Maryam, Allah says, this is the example for you. All ladies who look up to the models and supermodels of the Western world, Maryam is your example. Sayyida Khadijatul Kubra is your example. Sayyida Fatimatul Zahra is the example. Allah says, wa Maryam, and Maryam is your example of the example of Maryam, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her chastity, who guarded her honor, who we henceforth breathe into her through Jibreel, a spirit from ourselves, and she testified the words of her Lord and his books, and وَكَانَتْ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ, and was amongst the obedient. She was an obedient servant of Allah Rabbul Alameen. And until the day of judgment, Allah's Quran will be filled with the zikr of Maryam alayhi salatu, Maryam salamullahi alayha, and we will learn the honor of women through the story of Sayyida Maryam salamullahi alayha wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.